Let's get it. Tune in.
Let's do it. I forget where the camera is. I always look down here. I gotta find it.
All right. Welcome back to the iFilmmaker podcast. My name is Ariel Martinez. With us straight out of Jersey is Mr. Saratelli, Jersey filmmaker himself.
Always straight out of Jersey. One of these days I'm gonna be recording from somewhere else. We'll do that.
And it'll be straight out of that city then at that point.
On the road, podcasting on the road.
So here we are with another slightly late episode. But it's okay because we're filmmakers. No, I'm sorry. That doesn't make it okay. But, you know, it is a kind of a sort of a justification. But here we go. We're here. We're doing it.
The justification is this is not our job.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not. It's not. So today is, I guess for me, an exciting episode because I get to talk about my experience with the Hdmi Ninja Inferno.
I can't wait to hear this.
I'm sorry. I keep saying ninja. It's Shogun Inferno.
I can't
get that. There's a very big difference.
That's like when you first start talking about red cameras, like getting the dragon helium epic is very confusing. I still would get confused with Hdmi.
Yeah, man.
Lack of experience.
Yeah, no, it's because me too, because this is the first Hdmi product that I have that I purchased. And like I told you a second ago, I'm kicking myself that I didn't do it before, and we're gonna get in depth into that in a second.
You're gonna don't trash my Odyssey, man.
Man, I am so sorry. Listen, I love Convergent Design. I think they're a great company that have a great product. It's not all gonna be bad stuff. It's just gonna be how good the Shogun Inferno is and how much I've been missing out.
All right.
Well, and here's another thing. Keep in mind that this is so good for me because of the way that I shoot.
Right.
So keep that in mind, and take everything I say with a grain of salt, because the Odyssey 7Q Plus is still a magnificent piece of gear, but it's gonna the notes that I have here are just going to basically just diminish my whole wanting to go back to the Odyssey. All right. So before we start, let's go. Oh, we don't have that chat room open for those of these people that are joining us live. Welcome everyone. Oh, you got it there?
Yeah, I gave them some love already.
Awesome. Welcome everyone that's joining us live. And let me go ahead and get that chat room open as well so that I can see what you got.
While you do that, I'll update you with some things.
Okay.
So I started editing that feature film, the indie feature, and man, it's interesting. It is a time-consuming. Not that I didn't know editing was time-consuming, but I am doing the syncing of the audio with the footage as well. So there was no assistant editor, and man, that takes up some time, but it is really, really cool. I like the idea of editing a narrative. It's pretty neat.
Yeah,
we've talked about this before. Like I definitely don't want to be a full-time editor into the future, but excuse me. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to try to tell a story that's already there. It's odd because usually I know you do a lot of documentary work. I've done a lot of documentary work. And it's interesting trying to form the story after you shoot it, but to know the story already being there, it's cool to find the shots and the acting. Like I don't get to work with like actors, so I get to very often. So I get to see these actors try to play these roles and pick the best their best performances. That's really cool. I've never really done that very often. Like the acting I get to see is someone in a corporate video, usually, kind of just spewing information about something for the most part. It's not an actual emotion,
Doing narrative work is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it a lot for sure. and most of the time when I've been involved in is usually purely through collaboration. It's not work that I get paid to do, but I enjoy doing it because of that. It's a lot of fun. And I've been not hired because I didn't get paid, but I've been brought on to projects to be like DP and whatnot. But yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll keep you updated as we go. Obviously, I'm going to be doing that for a couple months now, but it's going to be a fun process. I'm going to do some stuff on my channel as well.
Yeah.
Just to show kind of how I am going about it. And the film's called Double Belgian, just so everyone knows. It's like a buddy comedy about a couple of guys that are starting a brewery. And, things go good, things go bad. There's a love interest, all that good stuff. So can't tell you the whole story, but that's the idea.
Nice.
So it's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Very cool. You're hosting a giveaway still?
I am. The giveaway ends on Wednesday at midnight Eastern Standard Time, giving away an iCan S7H. It's a 7-inch high bright monitor that we used when shooting Zion, which was a good experience. We didn't have any issues with it, right? It was solid.
No, it was a great monitor.
We saw everything. We were outside, so it had nice strength to it, brightness wise. Yeah, so go over to jerseyfilmmaker.com/giveaway, or you can check out my YouTube or Instagram. You can find links to everything there. Yeah, that ends Wednesday night. So go over there and
2 more days.
Yeah, 2 more days. Get your submissions in.
Nice. So, Mr. Jared Hillhouse, remember him? He was the guy that he won the interview contest. Oh, you weren't on the show then, but I had an interview contest here, and he was.
I remember that episode. Was he the winner? Nice. Congrats.
He was the winner.
Cool.
All right, so let's get over to this lovely, lovely topic that I'm excited to share my experience with. All right, so basically the deal is I've been shooting on the Odyssey for a couple years now, about a year and a half or so, and on the Odyssey 7Q Plus, I've been loving that monitor. You guys see it all over my social media, and shooting at Wadapalooza this is basically the backstory as to why this whole thing came about. I was shooting at Wadapalooza this last weekend, not last week, I'm sorry, like 3 weekends ago. And I come to realize my small HD monitor sucks in sunlight, in daylight. So usually I have a hood, a sun hood, that I can use for that kind of stuff. But
which one do you have? 701, 501?
I have the 701, the 701 light.
Okay,
it's a 400, not the high bright. I have the light one. It's 400 nits.
Okay.
So using the hood, it really limits my angle that I can even see the monitor at all. So if I want to get a low angle, I then have to move the monitor facing up so that I can get a clear view. Otherwise, the sun hood is obstructing my view of the monitor. Does that make sense? Because I can't just move it whenever.
Yep.
So I decided I don't even want to go with the hood. I'm just moving around with this monitor there, and I can't see anything during this whole event and especially in sunlight, because it is too bright outside. So I was borrowing my friend's high bright. He has a 702 high bright monitor, and it was a great monitor. It's 1,000 nit monitor. So then I said, okay, I need a high bright monitor for this kind of work. So I started looking around, and I came across the Shogun Inferno, right? And I saw that it's 1,500 nits. That's
insane.
1,500 nits. It's brighter than a small HD, high bright,
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoa, and the price was $1,600. It's pretty much the same price as a small HD high bright.
Right.
And so I'm like, wait a minute, for the same price, I could just get a monitor/recorder. So anyways, I went and I got it. I picked it up, and I figured, obviously, if this thing works out, if I like it, I'm going to keep it and just replace the Odyssey. So that's exactly what I did. I bought it, and I'm still within the 14-day return period. So I picked it up, and I wanted to test it out. So I went over to Miami Beach, and I started doing a shoot. So basically, my setup was this. I had my FS5. I had the Sigma 50-100 lens on there. Gorgeous lens. Love it. Nice and sharp. Everything stays the same. And the only difference is I was just the SDI cable.
Yep, just switching it over.
I was just switching it back and forth for every shot. That's all I did. That's the only thing that changed. The picture profile stayed the same, and actually it had to stay the same because the Odyssey 7Q Plus, and this is one of the downsides to the Odyssey, is that it only records S-Log2. Only. I usually always shoot an S-Log2, but I would like to have the option to shoot in different profiles. And to take that a step further, it only records an S-Gamut
2.
S-Gamut 2 in 3200 or in 5500 Kelvin, which is, those are the only two white balance options that you have.
Yep.
And it was very limiting.
Yeah. I'm just going to stop you for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
I need to go back and check this out. And I swear I've shot an S-Log3, but with an FS7, would that matter? Do you think that matters? Maybe.
It might have something to do with the fact that it was an FS7, but you had the extension unit on?
No.
Then it wouldn't have been recorded.
Then record. I know I have footage that I shot in S-Log. Maybe I did it in 2. I'd have to look back. I'm not positive.
But hold on a sec. I was under the impression that you can only use the Odyssey 7Q Plus on the FS7 with the extension unit.
Oh no,
that's
no. I use it.
You record into the Odyssey
right out of the camera. Yeah.
And what kind of format?
Raw, no, we're not. I'm not talking about RAW. I'm just talking. Okay. I'm just talking about
it takes a raw signal.
If you have the extension unit.
Right. So what signal are you sending over?
I'm just sending over the whatever's in camera. So I'm pretty sure I've recorded an S-Log3. Again, I don't record. Now, see, here's our workflow difference is I don't do that often. But when I first got it, I did do that. I would record the backups like as proxies kind of to the Odyssey. I don't do that as often anymore. I don't want to stop what you're doing, but I'm going to go back and check that. We'll revisit that. But I swear I have shot at S-Log3 with FS7 though, so that could be the difference. I don't know, but we'll check on it. Keep going.
We'll follow up on that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so basically I was always limited to 3200, 5500. It's always been a nuisance every single time I record. So that's one of the downsides. So okay, so let me start with, I guess, the build quality of both monitors.
Sure.
The Odyssey definitely wins that one because it is a solid, nice metal frame. Build quality, it's very robust, and as opposed to the Shogun Inferno, it's plasticky and all that. So there's that. The one thing that has always bothered me about the Odyssey is the placement of the bottom 1/4 inch screw threading.
Yep.
Right?
On the back, you're saying?
Yeah.
You don't like it?
I don't like that it's in the back. Like, I wonder why they didn't put it in the bottom.
Yeah.
Like a normal monitor. And then the way the design of the metal is, it completely tears all of the rubber from whatever.
Tear the rubber.
From whatever.
It's so true, dude.
From whatever articulating arm. That's why my arms here, I took off the rubber.
Yeah. Mine are torn up too. I have one that sticks on pretty well, but it's like it's ripping it off, which sucks.
It rips it off. If you wanted any kind of nice and if you wanted any kind, secured in any way, you're gonna have to really turn that thing in there and just basically rip off the rubber of anything that put in there. So there's that. That's always been annoying to me. The power source is pretty much the same thing. It could either be through DTAP or it could have those Sony LP batteries.
Yeah.
Is that right? LP?
I think so, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I always go DTAP all the way. So there's that.
You got those fancy batteries.
Yeah. Those batteries are amazing.
Yeah.
You should check that out.
Yeah, I should.
The display. This is where is the biggest, probably the biggest deal maker for me. So the display, I told you already, it has a 1500 nit as opposed to the 400 nit of the Odyssey. Now, I will say the Odyssey does have an OLED display, which makes the colors nicer, right? I would say it's more color accurate than the Ninja Inferno.
Okay.
I keep saying Ninja. It's Shogun Inferno. Then the Shogun Inferno. But honestly, to me, that it's such a minute difference that it doesn't bother me at all. What does bother me, the fact that I cannot look at the monitor in sunlight. I can't. Now, when I was shooting at the beach, oh my goodness. Listen, I gotta tell you, matter of fact, I could not shoot with the Odyssey. So what I would always have to make sure that I did, and I would forget sometimes, and which is why I had to give the Odyssey a couple of courtesy shots, meaning I was shooting with the Odyssey and I was really right here, hand on my forehead, trying to shade the sunlight so that I can try and get focus on what I'm shooting at.
Right.
Not too sure if I was in focus or not. I would hit record, stop recording, move the SDI cable to the Inferno, and my goodness, how bright that was, right? And then I would see when, obviously, I didn't touch the camera. All I did was the SDI. Yeah. I saw that I was out of focus.
So you'd have to go back.
So I had to
focus, then go back to it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that right there is the biggest deal breaker for the Odyssey at this point, because if I can't focus in daylight, I'm going to be missing shots or have shots that are out of focus. That's going to be a big problem for me, especially if I'm running and gunning throughout something like Wadapalooza, So that alone just makes it for me, I could stop right there, but I will continue. So it's the brightness of the monitor is just, it's absurd. It's absurd. It's, I have to have it now. There's no way I can return it. So there's that, the display, the interface. You know what? A lot of people complain about the Odyssey 7Q Plus interface. It didn't bother me too much. I do see why they love the Atmos Shogun Inferno, or pretty much all the Atmos recorders have the same interface.
Yep.
It's very easy to follow. It's kind of like Apple, with the Final Cut Pro 10. It's very intuitive. You can really know what's what just by the icons.
Yeah.
It's easy to pick up on that stuff. Really, really good. Very, I like it. It wouldn't have made me change my mind otherwise. So if that was the only difference, like I wouldn't be discussing it. So yeah, it didn't make my mind. I do like, there are some features, like for example, on the Odyssey, it has that zoom, so you can see if you're in focus and then zoom.
I love that.
That I have to press 2 buttons to get to that in the Shogun Inferno, which I don't like.
I use that all the time.
One thing I like about the Odyssey is that when you're shooting in 4K, DCI 4K, meaning the cinema 4K, you get that true,
it's the 17:9,
right? The true 4K, you can see the entire frame, right? On the Shogun, you can't. So what it basically shows you is the UHD, the 1920 by 10, the 16:9 aspect ratio. But what you could do is basically slide left and right to see the ends right there.
That's interesting.
It's not a big deal because you see the entire thing. You just it kind of like has those thin black lines that you're not seeing at the ends.
I wonder why it doesn't like kind of resize.
I feel like that's something that they could correct in a firmware update.
For sure.
They have. I mean, it is. I would like to see. Honestly, I forget that I'm not even looking at it. Yeah. So, but it's something that I would like to see. Just for peace of mind purposes. But it's not a big deal. So it has the normal stuff, waveforms, focus peaking, all that, things that all monitors should have at this point. Here's a big one though. The LUTs. I love looking at LUTs. LUTs make my image beautiful. I can see what I'm getting, Now sometimes I would, on the Odyssey one time, I had LUTs going, and I'm like, man, I really wish I could bake this LUT in. Convergent Design has made a video where they said you could bake the LUT in. but they never show you how to do that. And I have spent hours researching. I've spent hours on the actual Odyssey, like trying to figure out how to bake this thing in, and I could not figure it out. You know, I'd like to think I'm smart enough to know, like, if it's, you know, if it's a technology, I can figure it out, you know, but there's no way I can figure it out. I don't know how to bake it in if it could actually be done. On the Shogun Inferno, very simple. It's asking you, do you want to keep this on? Do you want to export the LUT, you know, onto the image? And obviously, yeah, if that's how I want to shoot, then yeah, if I want to keep it like that because I want to deliver this to my client, I don't want to give them S-Log2 footage. I want to give them this with the LUT and everything to give them higher quality footage. That's perfect. One time I've spent hours trying to just get the footage, put the LUT in on Premiere, export it to deliver that to the client. Took hours. It was my fault. It was just dumb. But anyways, I love that you can bake the LUTs in, and it's even flashing an indicator the entire time on the top right, very small red thing that says you're baking the LUT in. So, so you know when you're baking it in, so you're not making any mistakes, you know. That's awesome. That's great.
Cool, yeah.
The media. So I was under the impression, and I could definitely see me being wrong on this for sure. I was under the impression that the SSDs for the Odyssey were proprietary. I thought that you could not get any other ones but those, which are very expensive.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. We talked about that. I don't think that's true. I think they're generic SSDs. I think just the way they connect, which is just like this kind of screw-on little tab that you put on them. Like you said, the ones you had bought, you don't see any of those holes to screw them in. So I don't know what the deal is there. I don't think they're proprietary. I think they're regular SSD cards, but they were expensive. They were definitely expensive.
Yeah, the Convergent Design ones are very expensive. I got the ones that I did 480 gigabytes. They even had 500 gigabytes for $130.
Nice.
I'm even thinking about buying the same ones for my computer and just install them.
Yeah.
So like a couple of terabytes there to add of SSD.
Yeah.
That's very affordable. So we got a question here from Danny Mirabal. He was asking about the battery life. So yeah, I had mentioned the power source that they both take DTAP. Now I do think, I didn't do an extensive test on this, but I do think that the Shogun Inferno takes up more power. I
mean, it's like
probably from the brighter screen,
4 times as bright almost.
Yes, so that's why I'm assuming it does take more power. I noticed that my battery was, I had the Shogun on the DTAP from the battery that was being used on the camera, and I had to definitely replace that camera. It's never been that fast with the Odyssey. But the Odyssey at this point was it was actually running off a V-Lock that I had just taped onto my tripod.
Yep.
Which I think now I'm going to be using V-Locks I'm going to have to get the plate to use V-Locks for my FS5.
Oof.
And to power it's going to get heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to do that. But yeah, so anyways, there's for the power source, and actually to answer this other question here from Danny Mirabal, he says, have you guys ever used the Odyssey for multicam shooting? Yes. So I have not used the Odyssey for multicam shooting. I know it has that feature, and I think it's a fantastic feature.
It is a cool feature. There's also the Apollo though, which I think is the more
here's the thing,
more directed at multicam shooting.
Right, but the Apollo is it's the same thing. It's just a firmware.
So that's just the firmware. Okay, gotcha.
Right. So you could go ahead and buy the Apollo software and install it on your Odyssey 7Q Plus.
Gotcha.
I thought it was a completely different device as well until actually Convergent Design literally told me, no, it's just software.
That's funny. I thought it was a different.
Yeah. No. Me too. Because they're showing it with the Apollo name on the monitor thing. But anyways, it's just software. So that's pretty cool, but not too much for what I need. If I ever needed that for anything that I'm shooting, I think I would just rent it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great feature to have, just not for the way that I shoot.
There's actually, I'm just looking at their website now, Convergent Design. There's a new update for both the Odyssey, the Odyssey and Apollo. It's called Titan HD Extract free upgrade, and I'm not sure what it does. It looks like it pulls. It looks like it pulls the signals, multicam production, from one single 4K source. It looks like you can do another multicam thing and pull the signals
with one camera. So what it is it uses a 4K signal and it kind of like crops in to make any spot of that 4K into another shot.
Exactly. Yeah. So it shows the full shot. Then you're getting an HD, an HD1 and an HD2. So you're getting. I guess you could. I mean, I don't know if there's enough outputs, but you could technically get 4. But I think this is only gonna size-wise you get 4. But they're pumping out 2 different ones. So that's pretty cool. Then there's a third channel that would be a live switcher. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, all that is great. That's great. It's just not
I don't do live. Yeah, I don't do live production stuff. This is the only live.
But it is a great feature, and this is why I say like the Odyssey definitely has its place in the industry.
Yeah,
just not in my gear kit.
Yeah.
So there's that. Moving on to, I talked about picture profiles. I talked about the LUTs, how it could be baked in. Recording formats. Okay. Now, this is where I think the Odyssey has an edge. So they both do 4K RAW. They both do the ProRes and all that. And maybe it's because I didn't play with it enough. And I think I would have found it by now, but when I'm shooting on the FS5, I'm not able to do HD. Like I can't do HD ProRes because I'm getting a 4K RAW signal. And I could be wrong. So please, if you're hearing this, do not quote me on this, but I could be wrong. I think the only way I can do, unless I'm shooting in the camera HD, because here's the thing, I can shoot, if my camera is shooting HD, then it would take the HD signal. But usually when I want to send a raw 4K signal, convert that down to 1920 by 1080.
And you can't do that?
I can't do that. As long as I'm sending out the raw, when you put it on the raw setting, right, for recording format in the camera, it's going to send out a 4K DCI signal, 4K. And that is what it's recording, that resolution.
Yep.
If my camera goes to regular HD, like XAVC, right? If it's in that recording format, the Shogun will record that. Even though technically I'm not outputting it, but I am, I guess, and that's when it would record into ProRes. I guess it's not a big deal. I don't know if there's a difference because the Odyssey will take the 4K raw signal and convert that to a 1080p. I don't know if there's a difference in quality there. Obviously, I haven't tested that out, but I thought that was very interesting. So basically, it takes the 4K raw signal and it'll turn it to anything I want. The Odyssey will do that. It would turn it to HDMI, HD. It'll turn it, 1080p. It'll go to 2K. 2K 120 frames per second, continuous recording, all that stuff. I didn't test out the super slow motion features, but basically the Odyssey gives you more flexibility with that same signal than the Shogun from my limited experience.
Yeah.
So there's that. Again, guys, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. This is a result of a week of playing, if that, a week of playing with the Shogun. But these are my experiences. So moving on. Okay. So ejecting the media. So if you're done shooting on the Odyssey 7Q Plus, you have to eject the media. Otherwise, if you don't eject it and just turn off the monitor, and just take out the media, put it into your computer, you're going to find out that you're missing a lot of clips. Has that ever happened to you?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
So you have to eject the media.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Just like you would eject a USB from your computer.
Yeah.
You have to eject the media that way.
Huh.
In addition, when let's say you do properly eject the media and all your footage is in the media, now you're on FAT32 formatting. So now you have a ton of clips.
Yeah, you have your 4 gigabyte clips or whatever.
Yes. So Convergent Design gives you a software. You have to select the folder that you want it to be placed in, and then it'll convert and put all that stuff together, and then it'll dump it. It's a little time consuming. It's a process depending on how much footage you have, but that's the way to do it. With the Shogun, there's none of that. So you don't have to eject it. You just turn it off, take out the media, put it in your computer, and it's already MOV files ready to go.
Nice.
That's faster. So there's that.
Good. Yeah. That's good.
Here's a couple of good ones. So the HDMI jack, it has a full-size HDMI jack.
Right. Yeah. I don't get the mini one on the.
I know. I don't understand that.
I mean, the out isn't the out. I'm sorry. Nope. I'm looking right now. The HDMI out is also mini.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I don't get it. The thing, it's a monster. It's a 7-inch monitor. It's plenty big. Yeah. But I mean, they do have 7 SDI ports coming out of it, and I don't know why they did that. I mean, I get it. You got to save room when you have to, but that's a weird one. I hate putting that little janky mini HDMI in there. It just doesn't feel right.
So I'm able to. I mean, I was still able to use the Odyssey with my A6300 even and get ProRes. But with that, it just makes it easier, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
It's just there's that. The headphone.
So the Atomos, the Shogun has a full-size HDMI.
Full-size HDMI in and out.
And out. How many SDIs are there?
So I believe there's 2 in and 2 outs.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, I don't know what each. I mean, I see a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
6, okay.
But I think there's only 2 in and 2 out. I don't know what the other ones do. I haven't tested that out yet. But yeah.
Okay.
Another cool thing that I love, and this is something that it actually brings a lot of value to the package as well, is the headphone jack. The headphone jack, because if I wanted to use this now with my A6300, as I mentioned, I now have a headphone jack.
I've never even thought to use a headphone jack on my monitor.
Yeah, because you're using it with video cameras that you can use the headphone jack on the cameras.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to use it on the A6300,
right
now I have a headphone jack.
Is there no headphone jack on that?
Nope.
There is on the A7S too. So yeah. I didn't realize that there wasn't one. That's interesting.
I mean, it'd be good if you... I mean, I don't know how it processes audio, but I can only assume that listening to the audio that's going into the monitor, which is your recorder, if you're using it, it would be much more accurate to what you're going to get, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Yeah. But it's definitely beneficial, you know, if one day I want to get a second one. So,
yeah.
So there's that. Now, almost done here. The accessories, man, that's awesome. It comes in a nice case. I should have had this stuff to show you, but it comes in a nice little case to hold it in. But also for $100 more or $150 more, I forgot what it was. It came with a huge, big accessory box where it's a hard Pelican case.
That's awesome.
Hard Pelican case. It came with, you know, the power cable. It came with the the AC cable. It came with the D-Tab cable. It came with 4 caddies to put SSDs inside.
Nice.
Such good stuff, man. Like a lot of bang for your buck. And you know, Odyssey, I think, let me check real quick. I don't want to misquote this.
I'll answer a question or two while you're doing that.
Go ahead.
Somebody asked if there's a headphone jack on the Shogun. He's just confused. Yes, there is. That's what he's saying. That there is a headphone jack on there, which is interesting because I'm having a look now. I never even thought to use one on my monitor, so I don't think there is one on the Odyssey.
No, there is none. Because I've tried. I looked for it before.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Do you guys ever use your Odyssey to output to another monitor, like a producer monitor? I have done that once before, and it's awesome.
I've never done that.
I've done it once before, and it was cool because I had a Teradek, so it was just like I was just outputting the signal on my camera and it was sending it wirelessly to another monitor, because what it wasn't actually client monitor, it was director's monitor. So I was DPing. So I had my own thing going, and we sent a signal out to him as well, which is pretty cool.
So I'm looking now on B&H. A Convergent Design hard case for the Odyssey is $160.
Yeah, dude, I don't have a case at all for this thing, man. I've been going for years now.
No, me neither.
Just packing it nicely and being careful. That's nice to have a case. Yeah,
it's $160. The Odyssey, the one for the Shogun Inferno with the accessory kit.
What does the kit cost? Like, what was the additional cost of adding the kit to your package?
It was like $150.
Oh, nice.
It was like $150. Here it is. Oh, it came with the sun hood and everything. Not that I'll ever need it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess it was a special for buying. The actual Inferno.
Right.
Okay, here we go. So the Inferno with the accessory kit was like $1,600. It's with I think the Inferno itself is like $1,300 or something, because the kit that I'm talking about is almost $300 here.
Okay.
But it comes with all that stuff, the caddy, the cool thing is that it comes with like a headphone jack, like a splitter for the headphone jack or something like that. But I guess they're assuming that you're going to use it with a camera that doesn't you have audio or something.
It's just,
that is cool. Comes with extra batteries, some extra batteries for the actual monitor. So
nice.
All right. So finishing off, the price tag. The price tag is a huge one. Here's the thing. I bought the Shogun Inferno, like I told you, with the accessory kit for $1,600.
And how much media did it come with?
What do you mean?
Did it come with any media SSDs?
No.
Okay, so how much were those? 130, you said?
$130 for 480 gigabytes. So I bought two of them.
Okay. So for 480s, okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of storage for the price. That's
great.
It's a heck of a lot of storage. All right, so here this is where the Odyssey really crumbles. So the device alone, with nothing, no accessories, nothing at all, is $1,500, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the device alone. Now, I got to tell you, that does not include the raw recording.
Right.
That doesn't include the raw recording.
Yep.
I paid an extra $1,000 for the raw bundle from Convergent Design.
My goodness, man. Plus, you paid $500 to get a raw output on your FS5, didn't you?
Well, I bought it. Remember, I bought the FS5 used, so it came with the raw. But yes, if you have the FS5, yes, you will be paying $500 to get the raw out. So that's ridiculous. Yeah, so I bought that and paid an extra $1,000. That's not just raw. That's like even ProRes. If I wanted to get the 4K ProRes, I have to get that raw bundle.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's a $2,500 monitor, and it was just, man. Basically, if and when I end up getting rid of the Odyssey and selling it out, probably going to make a profit.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's that. Maybe we should have mentioned this earlier in the episode. So I did the comparison video. I made it. It's already done. It's actually right now on YouTube. For those of you watching live, it's unlisted currently, but as soon as we post this episode, if you're listening to this on iTunes or whatnot, it's already live. So go and check that out on my personal. Actually, I posted it on my personal YouTube page, and you can see all the comparison videos between the Odyssey, the Shogun. It was at the beach. Now, here's a disclaimer: the shots are very shaky because there was so much wind. And in the video, I kind of explained that, you know, both monitors were attached to the camera. So they were kind of like acting as sails with the wind. It was really, really messing up the shots. No matter how much I would literally weigh the camera down, it was like impossible. It was impossible to keep those shots steady. But anyways, go ahead and check that out. It's going to be on my YouTube channel. You want to see a real those comparison shots. I don't think that they're good for checking for sharpness because of the shakiness of the shots, but that's it. Yeah, I mean,
awesome.
I think honestly, from my experience, from what I've seen personally, I don't think that there's too much difference in terms of video quality. Like, I think it's pretty much the same.
Yep.
In terms of color, I like the color that the Odyssey. I'm sorry, that the Shogun offers. With the Odyssey, the skies and the ocean tend to come out a bluish teal, right? And it's harder to bring that back, or at least it takes more time to bring that back. And then the Shogun Inferno, it's a lot easier to get to where I want to go. It's a lot faster to get to where I want to be with my coloring. So that's a big plus. And for some reason, so in the video, the way I handled the footage was I put a LUT. I put a LUT. I colored up one of the shots, and then I put that same exact those same exact edits on the same exact shot.
Yep.
With the other recorder. For some reason, when I would always do that, the Odyssey shots always come out a lot more contrasty. Like the blacks were really punched in there. So what I had to do was naturally. So once I copied and paste the coloring that I did, I would bring the contrast down by 50%.
Wow. And
even then, it was still a little bit more contrasty than the Shogun, but you know, it was punched that much. Like those blacks were really crushed for some reason, you know.
Yeah.
But
Twisted Arc just asked, he goes, size format wise, which is smaller and more compact, the Odyssey or the Inferno? I don't know the size of the Inferno. That's a good question. Is it smaller?
Yes. Well, they're both 7-inch monitors.
Yeah.
In terms of thickness, the Inferno's is definitely thicker.
Is it? Okay. But they're similar. I mean, obviously 7-inch screen, you're going to get
similar.
this.
Very similar. The Shogun is slightly thicker. I don't want to say very much thicker, but it's definitely slightly thicker, noticeably thicker than the Odyssey.
Yep.
And I don't know. I haven't officially weighed them, so I don't know which one weighs more. I think the Shogun weighs a little bit more, but not a significant amount difference though. So yeah, I mean, you're pretty much gonna get almost the same thing in terms of video quality. You know, whether you can't, I don't think you could go wrong with either one. In this case, like it really depends on you, on how you shoot. And for me, the run and gun style that I have to do all the time, and oftentimes shooting outdoors, you know, man, the Shogun definitely takes the lead on that for sure.
Yeah.
For the way that I need to shoot, sometimes I want to bake my LUTs in there. It's so easy to do that. Having such versatility in a monitor recorder that I pretty much use in just about every other shoot, I would say.
Yeah. I do think that the Odyssey is more of a studio monitor.
Yes,
you know
yes,
what I mean?
It definitely is. Yeah, for studio work, like I've never had to output a signal to somebody else.
Yep.
So that kind of feature really, I don't need it, you know. Yep. So it really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, things like the brightness of the screen matters to me, you know.
Yeah.
The accuracy of the colors on the screen, with the small difference that it is, that definitely doesn't matter to me. Right. It's accurate enough for me to know what I'm going to get, you know, and that definitely does it for me. So, you know, honestly, on the brightness alone, like I told you, the price is pretty much the same as the 702 bright, high bright. And so,
but it's not a recorder.
it's not a record. The hybrid is not a recorder. You're right.
Right.
It's the same price even. So it's just a no-brainer really, for that aspect. So, I mean, I'm super happy with it. Very happy with it. I'm glad that I have it now, and we can get past that.
Maybe I'll take maybe I'll buy yours so I have a second Odyssey for no reason.
Go. This one has a raw bundle.
Oh, upgrade.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And don't worry, I'll just sell it to you for a little bit more than I bought it for.
Hey, man, I want you to profit.
I'll be fair.
Yeah.
All right, man. So that was a great, I guess. I hope this helped anyone out there that's considering these monitors that wanted to see. So I'm going to be putting that.
Yeah, when's that going live? That test, I want to check it out.
That video live as soon as this podcast is posted, which will be posted tonight. Okay. I'm going to be making it live because I will be putting a link. If you guys want to see the video, I'm going to be putting a link to the video on the iFilmmaker website. Go to iFilmmakerpodcast.com. Go to the show notes for this episode, and you'll be able to see that right there. It's going to be a pretty cool one. So yeah, check that out. And yeah,
cool. Congrats, man. Glad you like it.
Very excited for it. So yeah, I'm gonna be hanging on to that bad boy, and yeah, I definitely hope that I definitely see my shoots being a lot more efficient with that, with that stuff. Yeah. So
yeah, it's nice to get stuff that's gonna like up your game as far as efficiency and workflow. That's good stuff.
Oh yeah. All right, man. So I think that concludes today's episode.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone that tuned in. Just a reminder, we are on iTunes, we are on SoundCloud, Google Play, we're on YouTube. We're actually doing this live. We had a small audience here on our chat room sending in their questions. We're answering them live. If you want to be a part of that, make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, because they're getting notifications every single time we go live. So they're able to catch this show live. If you want to catch the show live, make sure you're subscribed, turn on those notifications to make sure that you get those whenever we go live, because a lot of this stuff is very, we play it by ear kind of when we're able to record these sessions. So make sure you're subscribed. Thanks to everyone that tuned in live. We really appreciate you guys coming in and being a part of the conversation. And don't forget Mr. Serratelli's giveaway. There's 2 days left. Let them know the information one more time.
Free stuff, man. jerseyfilmmaker.com/giveaway. Doing that 7-inch iCan high bright monitor. Just go over there. All you have to do is there's like 8 different options. You can retweet a tweet. You can follow myself or iCan's social medias, and you do any of those things, and you get automatically entered. And it ends Wednesday night, the 31st at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So head on over there and win yourself a monitor.
Perfect. All right, man. So I think that concludes today's episode. I will see you on the next one.
No doubt. Later.